Hello, and welcome to another episode of the LARP Snoop podcast with me, Bungle, and once again joined by our super special guest, Oily.
Howdy, everyone.
Hi, Oily.
I'm back again.
Yeah. Still while Millie is off working in far-off lands, we brought in Oily as a wonderful stand-in. Just as wonderful to look at through the webcam as well, so.
Oh, the old bung.
So, Empire E2's just been and gone. It's spring. Or was spring.
Oh yeah, I didn't realise until I was there, and someone said, I went, it's the beginning of spring, and they went, no, it's the end of spring, and I went, oh.
So yeah, it was the spring summit. We both arrived on the Thursday, as is standard fare, I think, for me at the moment, because I love the luxury of having everything set up on Friday, just being able to relax and do any last minute panic shopping if I've forgotten anything.
I like.
How about yourself?
Yeah, I also like Thursday if I can stress on a Thursday, but the only thing I've got to stress about is setting up the tent and putting the chair out and cracking a cold one, and then you said, having Friday to just kind of mill around and just fill time until the game begins.
Yeah. So yeah, Thursday was just the usual fare of arrive on site, set everything up, and then go out and have drinks, catching up with old friends you haven't seen for a while.
Yeah, it was lovely. They
always a fun time in the Forge.
Yes, it was a fun time in the Forge, wasn't it, Bung? We you tagged along on the themed night out.
Yep. And I believe you're the only coin that I looked like I was one of your dads taking you out to the con.
Yeah, you really gave off the vibes of, I'm a dad that doesn't understand. I've brought my daughter and her friends to Comic-Con.
Yep. It was a wonderful evening. I think I drank through an entire bottle of agave honey mead on the Thursday night.
Oh, that was good. Yeah, that was real nice.
It was very tasty, but a little bit too easy to drink. My Friday was a little bit hangover-y, but not too bad. Not the worst I've been on a Friday morning.
I just felt like it was because I'd worked Thursday morning, so I was so wiped from doing work and then running up to Empire and putting the tent up and everything. I went, do you know what? I'm gonna drink through the ciders I got in my bag. I think we then we wandered off at one point and we managed to fit, I think, 6 people in one of those tiny one-man ridge tents. Yeah.
Literally, I think about 3 or 4 of you disappeared into the tent, and they're like, are they all just inside that tent? And then a handful more just disappeared, and they've all just vanished inside this tent. You can just hear the occasional giggle coming from inside.
You were just like, have they dug a hole inside?
Yeah, it was like, is there actually a tunnel leading somewhere else on site?
It was, I believe they described it as one of the ILARP pillars, which was a clown car, where it's just an endless stream of people coming out of one very small tent.
Then obviously Friday rolls around, and pretty much all I got up to on Friday morning was I had to go get a few things from one of the local shops, and then the wonderful fun of weapons checking. And I want to give a shout out, I believe it was Tim, who actually recognised the Ashbourne shield from being mentioned on the podcast. So, hi, thank you for passing it.
This is where you tell me you're going to bring it up as some merch at Christmas.
Oh, God, no. that thing's got to stay with the Ashbourne, so I stole it from Dave when he left.
I was hoping for
you don't need this anymore.
I was hoping for a really bad, little cardboard version of it.
Oh yeah, we'll make a little cardboard cutout version of it, and we'll just print out on a bit of paper,
like a Blue Peter craft.
That was pretty much my Friday before time in. But you had a little bit of excitement to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, I started my day. I was trying something new this time, where I didn't do my shopping on Thursday. I did it on Friday. And part of that was, normally I have a big Thursday, so I get up really late. But this time I had an easy Thursday, and I went for a delightful breakfast in Northampton at the Weatherspoons, and then I went shopping.
Fancy.
And picked up one of my striding mates who was a little bit unsure about getting the Banbury coach. After last time, I think the Banbury train broke down. Just outside the station. So this time I said, "Hey, go to Northampton. You can join us there." That was lovely. And then I did have to hurry back though, because I think I had a photo shoot I think this photo shoot was over a year in the making.
Yeah.
One of my lovely photographer friends who just, it was disaster after disaster had happened to them,
Yeah.
and they kept on having to reschedule, and that was fine with me. I was very understanding about it. But finally, this summit was the time it was to take some really awesome photos, and I was thrilled with the back of camera previews. But it did mean that
Nice.
I had to get kitted up at about lunchtime on Friday, and as we know, Friday was it was about 27 degrees, I want to say.
Yeah, it was a very, very toasty event.
And it was me just crying as I was putting on all my battle
Yeah,
kit.
because it was full battle kit photos as well. So all your chainmail and everything.
And all those...
The hat.
The thing that really gets
all the other accoutrement.
Yeah, the thing that really gets you about the battle kit for me is the layering. Because it was just all these layers that make you look really cool, but they don't keep you cool. They make you really warm.
No.
And I was just like, and then I had to like go and waddle. And I was really stressed about getting there on time, and so I really like speed walked over there as though I was even warmer. And I just was like, oh god, like, and I was thinking, if it's like this the whole weekend, I don't know if I could do 2 hours of battle in this.
That'll come into our time in a future episode. Did Murdoch make it to battle in his full kit?
Or did he just suffer heat stroke on the walk up to the skirmish gate?
Yeah, well, the entire weekend was absolutely baking.
Yeah.
There was a couple of like drops of rain throughout the entire event, but all that did was made it more humid and sticky.
I got rain exactly when I didn't need to get rain, but that's a Saturday problem.
Yeah.
But I could definitely... I'm going to shout out Astora Pictures. Amazing. Nat is lovely. You should definitely book photo shoots with them.
Yeah, they do amazing work.
Yeah. Some of my favourite pictures of my friends have been taken by them. But that...
Yeah, they were running the camera at the Oasis, I believe. The Oasis 2 that I did.
Yes.
At ILAP. Yeah. Even the videography they did there was amazing. And also having the full prop like camera with an actual camera inside was genius. So made for some very fun watching of the film later on that evening. So yeah, that's pretty much everything before Time In on the Friday. So Time In rolls around. Obviously, the first thing you hear when Time In hits in the VAR at E2 is someone will shout, "It's spring!" Which is obviously the Navarre main festival. I think we've mentioned it several times on the podcast in the past.
It's our only festival, I believe, so...
Yeah, it's the only... every other nation seems to have a lot of festivals going on throughout the year, whereas Navarre seems to only ever do spring. So whether we need to try about bringing some more festivals in, figure some stuff out, but rather than just concentrating on one, might be quite nice to spread everything out, because I love the spring stuff, but it is all crammed into one weekend, and the one thing all LARPers lack is the time to do the things they want to do.
Yes, I think every other, especially the league seems to be getting like a new event every single summit. And
oh yeah, if not two.
If not two. We just sat there being like, it's still spring.
Yeah. Oh, it's spring. We're doing this. We're doing that. Because it was also the Vrishkin had a festival in spring as well, where they have the giant puppet
and the wolves.
And the wolves turning up, things like that. But my Friday Time In rolls around. I'd go to standing for a little bit, then make my way back to camp, grab my basket of frogs, and go doing some frog selling. And I actually made a fair bit of cash selling some frogs around this summit. So I did spend majority of the cash I made, but that's prosperity.
Yeah, I mean, you told me when, because the first people you sold to was the Dread Shields in camp.
Oh yeah.
And you told me
so
that,
local to start with.
Yeah, I mean, this feels like an Avon thing. Like you've you've twisted your friend and neighbour's arms into buying your frogs.
Oh yeah.
Now what you got to do is get them to buy frogs, and then they have to sell those frogs to their friends.
I'm not going to start a MLM selling frogs at Empire. It would be fucking hilarious to do.
Just
So
spread.
buy this massive box of frogs from me for this amount, then you sell them on to your friends. Or convince them to start selling boxes of frogs for you, which you still then buy boxes of frogs from me. Yeah. I could be a very, very rich man at the top of this pyramid scheme, but then I feel I'm treading into League Hearth magic.
Yeah, that's where you got to be careful. But just if you acquire too much money in Navarre, you start to lose your tattoos.
Yeah. So let's lose your tattoos, get a very fancy hat, and end up marrying a Leaguish.
I don't know anything about that, man.
I mean, what was your start to the time in?
I started by doing what I normally do, which is sitting down, cracking a drink, and refusing to go to standing.
Yeah.
I have nothing against standing. I just feel like I've become allergic to meetings. So
Yeah.
I can't.
I mean, I think for me it stems a lot. I used to go a lot while Dave was senator.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, at least there had to be some sort of representation of senators there. So usually I'd either be there standing in Dave's place or being there with Dave. And it sort of drilled into me to go there initially, and I'll stay for the initial bit. But the majority of the announcements, I know what they're all going to be, because they're all the usually pre-announced events. So it's like, okay, I've heard the stuff I need to hear, and now I'm going to go about and see what trouble I can get into.
Yeah, I think it's important if you're newer in Navarre or newer to Empire. I think it's really good to go, because you will get to see the faces of that are attached to the things you might be interested in. So someone stands up and goes, "I'm in charge of Thorns Council. We are going to meet in a minute in this location." And then if you're a brand new Thorn, you'd be like, "Okay, cool, all right, yes, I'll go there." And obviously you wouldn't know that otherwise. I just find I don't have a lot of intersection with the Navarre national game at the minute, so I'm off gallivanting round the rest of the Empire, attending parties and stuff all the time.
Yeah, that's all Murdoch ever gets up to. Oh, I've got another party.
Where are you off to?
Okay.
I was being good this time, because, as mentioned in the pre-larp, it was my wedding on Saturday, and that did sow its thread through my whole weekend, where I went right. I'm not doing anything this weekend apart from the wedding.
How'd that work out?
Pretty well. We talk more about the wedding when we get around Saturday. But the very first thing I did, I felt like I had just timed in, and then one of my very dear friends turned up, looking extremely confused, obviously in character, and immediately I was just thrust into emotional roleplay. Because they've been.
I love that first thing at a time in.
It was just a great way to be like, you're back in Murdoch's skin. Like, time to deal with something. We had a really, I can't tell you too much because it's active plot, but it was a really touching heart to heart about our friendship, and they were slowly starting to forget things.
I know what you're on about.
And it was really, really heart-wrenching talking to them and them starting to not remember things we'd done together. But I tried to look after them and then sort of gently send them back.
Yeah. there, it's all fine. No, because obviously there's a few people. Well, I think was it Dylan? Kind of lost his character last summit.
Big loss for the Dreadshields. We lost Ronan, who was a pre-Dreadshields. There was 4 of us before the Dreadshields, and now there's only 2 of us left.
Oh, 2 OGs.
He was a pre-COVID character.
Oh, that's always painful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, new member to the .2 club.
Yes, so a new member, and he was perhaps working out his strategy for how to join his friends again, because some of us we don't like walking straight back into your camp full of friends and and acting like you weren't dead. And I like that because I feel like it then doesn't subtract from your previous character's death.
Yeah.
So he was hanging around in the market where our cheeky little friend Cricket, who is a very unserious character, found him. And because he's new to Anvil, he doesn't know the price of anything. So immediately he said, "Oh, hello, my name's Brock. I've just come here. I don't really know anyone." And Cricket was like, "Hello, my name's Cricket." That was not a very good Cricket impression. But it ended up with Cricket, I think, hiring him for one ring to be their assistant.
Yeah.
So we then had Cricket turn up to the Dread Shields and introduce their new assistant.
Yeah. Well, I think initially Cricket had just given Brock a ring, which was more money than he'd ever seen in the world. So that could get him food for a week, he kept saying, in regards to obviously how money is apparently in the rest of Empire compared to what it is at Anvil. So he was astounded to have this ring, and the talk came, "Oh, is this your new assistant then, Cricket?" And that just became the whole. Yep. It was, now you're an assistant.
It was such a good organic bit. Like it started off with, I think Cricket was initially like, they were like, "No," and then within 2 minutes it was like, "Oh yeah." They were like, "Assistant." They were like, "Pass me my cup."
Yeah. Hold my things.
Hold my things. He did do a very good job of being their assistant all weekend.
Yeah.
My assistant, my dear striding mate Sylvie, told me when we got there that they would like to make some money this event. And so I said, "How about I have 8 Murdoch calendars?" I said, "I've got 8 left from the previous print run. How about," I said, "you see if you can sell all of these by the end of the weekend." So I handed them a bunch of smut, sent them off into the Empire.
Oh yeah, I know. I was with Sylvie for most of the weekend, so just any opportunities, like, "Want to buy some smut?"
They definitely, it was a slow start, but I think they started to get into the sleazy salesman side of it. I think especially when darkness fell, definitely on the Saturday night as well. But again, we'll go into that later. Yes, you gotta wait for. I told them you gotta wait for dark to fall and the drinks to start flowing, and then you just gotta sidle up to people and be like, "Hey, I've got something you want."
Oh.
You got to intrigue them.
No, then, after sort of milling around sort of camp, I think we all headed off down the marches. Because another thing that Sylvia had heard about was the Marcher Stamp Quest.
Yes.
And was very, very eager to try and get the Stamp Quest done. So over into the marches.
We went, I think Sylvie wanted to go and do the Stamp Quest. I think me and you decided that a drink was in order, and the marches has a wonderful plethora of boozers.
Huge selection of places to buy your alcoholic beverages.
So I believe,
including the Black Rat and Blind Eye, basically becoming the Weatherspoons of Anvil.
Yes, it was the blind. What was it? The Blind Rat and the Black.
Blind Rat, Black Eye.
Black Eye.
They couldn't decide which one they were going to go for. So I think either would work. But yeah, they both had their bars running next to each other, with a large area sort of cordoned off by bunting.
Yeah, and some
with a big fuck off stage,
which looked suspiciously like part of the Senate building.
Yeah, that
was really funny when we turned up and I saw that and I went, "How the hell have they got that?" Like,
yeah. Knowing the right people.
And I asked some of the lovely marchers I know, and they went, "Oh, yeah." They said someone pulled a couple of favours, and they.
Yeah. And like, yep, here you go.
Yeah, of course, please.
Yeah.
I think we went across the road to, I think it was the Medlam.
Yes, I think so.
And we met a wonderful fellow called Big Richard.
Yep. With his hood.
With his big hat.
Yep. They were where I think they were the ones who had actually arranged the stamp quest and set it all up.
Yes. So,
which was to go roughly into it. It was collecting stamps from various bars or other things in the Marchers camp. One of which was a tea room. One was the library.
a lot of them were bars.
Yeah, majority were bars. We'll be honest, but they all had different challenges to do to get your stamps. Which there was the meddlers. I think they had two things there. One was the riddle, and the other was you have to beat one of the bar staff at table tennis. Which, unfortunately, when we got there, it was too dark for them to play table tennis, so they brought the table in. But
I believe actually what happened was we turned up and the table tennis table was out, but then obviously respecting how famous Gwithian and Murdoch were, when we turned up we said, "Oh, we need a table," and they went, "Oh, right this way," and they actually brought the table in so that we could have a table.
Oh, we've heard of this angry changeling. If he doesn't get what he wants, he's going to shout.
Yeah.
And the awning was tall enough for me to walk in without too much bending over, which was lovely.
It was lovely. The Marches is my favourite. It's not just culturally. Like, I feel like culturally they have the best pub vibe, but I think their pubs are some of my favourite because they're always just so welcoming. They have great tables. They have fire pits, and just the whole mood on the Marcher High Street is always just wonderful. I love going to the Marches.
Yeah, it's got very much the feel of a sort of not medieval, but perhaps sort of mid-English sort of a pub town where you've got inns after inn after inn after inn, and there's just frivolity happening in every single one of them. I
think it was they were having the Steward Games. I think that event as well.
Yes.
So there was a massive. There was a great energy in the air because they were going to do that the next day as well. So.
Yes, which is the different regions all going against each other in various different contests. Which I know, again, we'll discuss further on Saturday what happened there. Because oddly, spent a lot of time in the Marches this summit.
Yeah. Do you? I think I had a drink there called the Daddy. The Camp Daddy, that's what it was called.
The Camp Daddy, yes. Which was the one with the chili jam, wasn't it?
It was chili jam and whiskey and something else, I believe. Absolutely delicious.
Yep.
Do you remember what you had?
It was the minty something, it was basically a mojito with fresh mint and everything muddled in it. And on a baking hot evening, having my tankard filled with this delicious mojito and ice was lovely.
And as a bonus, we got our stamps. I believe.
Yeah, well, got the stamps for the riddle.
We got the stamps for the riddle.
Yep, you managed to solve the easiest of the riddles.
They were hard riddles. Do you remember any of them? I remember there's one about a dog.
There's the one which is a dog crosses a river. Crosses a flowing river, but doesn't get wet. And there's no bridge, no boat. How does it get across?
Yeah, and it's a wide flowing river. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, wide flowing river, so it's like can't jump it. It wasn't carried by anyone. So that was going on because I think you did your riddle questions first.
Yeah, so I cut.
Sylvie was sitting there just studying like we can figure out the answers and then go for it.
I cut the path through the brush for everyone else to follow me.
Oh yeah, someone's got to be the first. So
I'll tell you what. If anyone can work out what the dog riddle's answer was, please leave it as a comment.
I know what it was because that's the one I solved to get the stamp.
Well, let our listeners just.
I'm going to let them work it out.
And then next time we'll tell them the answer.
Yeah, perhaps on the Sunday episode when that comes out, I'll reveal then what the answer to the dog riddle was. Yeah, and I think I spent pretty much the rest of that evening in the Marches going around seeing if there's any other stamps we could collect. A lot of places were either already shut for the evening or things like that, but I think we managed to pick up 4 stamps in total on the first night out of the 8.
Yeah, which was a really good start, actually.
Yeah, because in fact, we did the Black Rats and the Blind Eyes one, which was you have to buy a drink for the bar staff from the other bar.
That was one of them.
that was the Black Rats, and the Blind Eyes was buy us a drink from the other bar. So yeah, you were basically buying drinks for them to get their stamps.
Oh,
It was quite funny because I just went up to Willem, played by the wonderful Jim. I was like, "What are you drinking for this stamp quest?" And just got his tankard. Went next door, got it, and they said, "What are you drinking?" Boom, went next door, got it, and brought it back. He's like, "There you go, stamp the card, please."
I got told when I asked that the Black Rat wanted you to steal something from the Blind Eye.
Oh,
Which
I see.
I did. I then started wondering, were they giving the things back, or was it getting slowly harder and harder to complete the stamp quest as more of the Blind Eye's items were disappearing?
That may have occurred because I think the Blind Eye, no, the Black Rat even, they sold out of booze really early.
They always do. You've got to You've got to get there so quick for the Black Rats, especially their cider. Man.
Yeah, their cider basically was out by late on Friday. I think all they had left was the stout.
Yeah, they're such great lads, the Hartels, and yeah, the booze is good. I think I can't remember exactly what they got a tagline, but it's something like the only 5-ring pint in Anvil.
Yeah, and it is nice to be able to buy a drink for 5 rings still. The fact there is a place that still sells a drink for 5 rings is very nice.
They're very adamant about that.
Yeah.
Like good proper working marchers.
Yep. Oh yeah, but then at some point during the evening, you and Cricket disappeared off.
Yes, so I believe we had to split up in the marches because I had to run back because I had a meeting, which is a very cryptic meeting in Navarre, and I was basically being sent along because I'd been banned from going on a skirmish. Essentially, the Dreadshields had been invited on a skirmish to fight some Druge, which is very nice. And my rule is I won't go on skirmishes unless my fellow friend Carrick, who's the other healer in the Dreadshields, comes along as well, so that we can look after each other. And I said I was up for going for it, and then Carrick said he wasn't going to go, and everyone was trying to convince him to go. He went no, because he said, by me not going, that means Murdoch can't go on it, because he won't break his rule, which means that he won't put himself in danger, because he's getting married tomorrow, and we can't have him dying before his wedding.
Yeah.
So this was like...
But what actually happened?
Well, one thing led to another. I said, quite rightfully, I went, well, I've been banner bearing for the Dreadshields for a while. So I said, do you know what, I'll just, in my nice clothes, in my nice Murdoch clothes, not in my armour, in my nice Murdoch clothes, I said, give me the banner, I'll walk you guys down to the gate. You know, we'll make a good show of it to be like, the Dreadshields are here, you know, here's our banner, here we are, we're ready. And we went along there, and as you know, there was faffing at the gate and all this, and they put the Dreadshields in position, and then I kind of stepped to the side of the Sentinel Gate where there was a bunch of other very soft-looking Navarre types, and someone came over and started counting them and counted me, and I went, oh no, I'm not going through. And they went, oh okay, and they kept going. And just that little thing in my brain, it sparked something. And I went, I'm not going through. But what if I was going through? And so OC, Oily, decided it would be very, very funny if Murdoch ended up going through the Sentinel Gate with a big banner, no weapon and no armour. And Murdoch is not built out as a fighting character. He's got base. He hasn't got any extra special bleeds. He hasn't got any extra hit points without his armor. You know, he's bog standard. So, in character, I said that Murdoch got swept through the gate by the crowd because it was quite a big skirmish. I think it was 75 or 80 people.
Yeah, cool. Because I was walking through the Brass Coast at that time, just having a wander. little bimble as I was doing. This was actually before we all went off to the marches
Mm-hmm.
when you went for the skirmish, and I saw you there with the banner at the side of the gate, and then I saw you just sort of sidle in. It's just like, oh, okay, naughty.
So I went through, and the Dreadshields had gone through first, and so then they had all fanned out into the field, formed a nice line, looking very stoic, very cool, and then suddenly there was their favourite silly little guy ran up behind them and went, guys, something awful's happened. And they were like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I got swept through the gate, guys. And they were like, murder.
Oh dear.
As I have said, sometimes making the bad decision in character is a lot of out of character fun. So
and leads to a lot of good IC roleplay.
It led to a lot of roleplay, mainly me trying to find progressively bigger and more heavily armoured people to stand behind, because I realised that one arrow would just end my whole evening.
Yep. Well, probably your whole weekend.
Yeah, and so I was just running around with this big, and I was like, oh, I hope they don't spot me with this big, 6-foot banner above my head. And I kept turning to people and going, yeah, I'm getting married tomorrow. And then I kept,
he's 2 days from retirement.
And then I kept saying to people, I'm thinking about retiring when I'm married as well. And people were like, stop saying that! Stop saying! What are you doing? I was like, what's wrong? I love my fiance. I'm getting married tomorrow. I'm just excited about it. And they're like, stop saying that. I can feel the arrows heading towards you. And at one point, I was running around, and on the retreat out, someone caught an arrow and went down. And I looked at them for a bit, and no one else was going for them. And I think they were really screaming because they were bleeding out. And I was like, fine, all right, I'll be a hero as always. Yeah, and I ran over to them, and I knelt down, and I went, sorry, I've got your bleed count, you're not bleeding anymore. And then I went, what's wrong with you? And they went, oh, my leg's been cleaved off. And I went, ooh, that's a shame. I went, I haven't got any herbs on me, I'm sorry. And I kind of looked round, I had to, and then it was about 2 minutes, and I was like, I've stopped you bleeding. I have the physics skill. I stopped them bleeding.
Yeah.
Afterwards, on reflection, I realised I could have done some physic roleplay.
I think it's 5 minutes of roleplay as a physic. You can fix a cleaved limb.
I was like, I'm not sure I was willing to do that. And it was only when I got back out through the gate and I got back to camp that I realised that right strapped to my chest was both my very prominent herb pouches with the cards sticking out. So to that person, I leant over them, and they went, please help me. And I looked at them with a big stack of herbs right at my front. I went, I'm sorry, I haven't got any herbs.
Oh, man.
And they were just lying on the floor I was like, I'm sorry, you've been a brave fighter.
Oh, dear.
That was...
I think this is Oily's apology.
Yeah, this is my apology. I'm reasonably sure I think another physic ran over right as I had to leave them. That was just the ADHD in my head, though, is that I'm not in battle kit, therefore I don't have any battle stuff on me, even though it was literally strapped to me.
Yeah, it's the object permanence thing, where
exactly,
if it's not there, it's not there. If it's with your battle kit, it's with your battle kit. That's where it is.
Yeah, obviously.
It's not around my waist.
Even though it was physically strapped to my front.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've done that a few times, where it's like, where the fuck are my daggers? Oh, wait, they're just here. Attached to me. Shit. Or forgetting that I've got a giant axe hanging out the back of my kit or something like that. I'm just wondering what the hell keeps knocking me sideways.
Yeah, it's like several times people have gone, oh, have you got a mana crystal? I'm like, no, literally I've got nothing on me. And then later on I've realised that I've got like a massive stack of just random stuff in the bottom of my pouch, and I probably did have the thing the person wanted. I have now.
Definitely been there.
I have now, since me and you had that lovely moment last year where we healed Morgan, and we did some great RP, but we were a little bit short on phys reps.
Yeah.
So I've now converted one of my pouches on my civilian kit to have a little vial of fake blood and a little bandage and a little bit of herbs, so that and now I've done that, it's never going to happen again.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah. Well, just go anywhere that Morgan is, and it's bound to happen. That man picks up traumatic wounds like nobody's business.
I did find I was doing a lot of like healing just around Anvil. I really like the healing around Anvil, where someone comes to you and they're like, "Ooh, I can't really see very well," and you go, "You're right," and it turns out they're like severely concussed.
Yeah.
Um,
The wonderful world of traumatic wound cards.
So again, I had that on me as well. Like, I had healing phys reps on me. I just went, I'm terribly sorry, there's nothing I can do for you. It was like me, it's like someone being like, oh God, I'm so thirsty, do you have a drink? And me taking, like, and me literally cradling, like, a 5 litre of water, being like, I've got no water on me, I'm so sorry.
Oh, so this all led to you having a bit of a cryptic meeting.
This did, yes. So I got sent off to a meeting in Navarre about the future of... Again, I'm sorry, listener, I will have to be a little bit cryptic about it, but it was about the future of Navarre's military units. And immediately upon getting there, we realised, me and my good friend Carrick, that we had been sent as entirely the wrong people. They were talking about things, and we just went, that sounds great. I don't know how that impacts us at all. So there was a... I did my due diligence. I think Agni would have been proud of me. I wrote down a bunch of notes, and then I took them to... I just took them straight to Rook, the commander of the Dreadshields, as soon as I was done.
Yeah. Agni's going to be looking on at you from the labyrinth going, that's my boy. Yeah. And what else did you get up to on the Friday?
I've only got one more thing, which is it's an every event, it's an every summit treat. It's now become a bit of a ritual.
I still need to get a fucking invite.
Well, I mean, you got to know people. It's like the Freemasons. You have to know someone.
Come on, I've sold a fair few frogs to Reapers. I should be getting an invite by now.
Yeah, I can't. Well, okay, we could tell you it's the Reaper Wine Club. I can't tell you any. Yeah. It occurs at a suitably Reaper time.
Yeah.
This feels a bit like Batman. Like, same Reaper time, same Reaper place.
Same Reaper place.
But Wine Club, at least our version of Wine Club, started off as a excuse for lots of us that are OC friends to meet up and actually see each other, because so much of the time at Empire, you and your friends will just run around, and you'll be running scattered to the four winds, and then you'll never see each other. You'll be like, I meant to come see you, and they were like, I swung by, but you weren't there, or whatever.
Yeah.
So we set up Wine Club to be, let's pretend to be hoity-toity types. We'll bring wine along, and the key is we rank the wines. We decide which was the best, which was the worst, and then but the trick is, you don't know until the end if it's the best wine wins or the worst wine wins. So you just have to make a decision. And I can say every time I've picked the wrong one, basically.
You've either gone for the worst wine on the best wine week and event, and
that's exactly it. I've won worst wine a lot. And it's always been when the best wine is. It's quite an intensive event now, though. There was about, I reckon there was about 12 to 14 people there. So that's potentially about 10 bottles of wine, I think, which is great, because if every single person there brings a wine, that's a lot of wine.
I like wine, but wine drunk can be a bit much sometimes.
Yeah, I know. I have to save myself for Wine Club. We have definitely learnt going forward. This time we did have much smaller amounts of wine, because last time we got very wine drunk on the winner.
Yeah.
But I did end up in a really weird situation, because I'd taken my to-be wife along with me as my guest. as is my privilege to do as a founding member of Wine Club. I'm allowed to bring a guest. So, I'll make this promise now on the podcast, Bung. Bung.
Hello. Freudian slip.
Yeah. I will take Gwithian along. As soon as I have an open guest slot, I will take Gwithian along.
Yeah.
So, I don't think it'll be next time, because I have a very special guest coming next time. But I think maybe E4 might be Gwithian's time.
Finally, it'll be my time.
Wine Club's actually made me appreciate red wine. I didn't like wine that much.
Good.
And then by the time you drunk 12 bottles of it, you go, maybe wine's all right.
Yeah. I mean, it all tastes the same, doesn't it?
Yeah. But we had this really weird... I remember a couple of bottles of wine in, having a moment of self-reflection, where I realised to my right was my in-character fiancé, whom I was marrying the next day. And to my left was my out-of-character fiancé, who I'm marrying next year. And I went, this is very strange. I've got a very strange hobby. I'm sure lots of people have been there where explaining something back to someone who's not a LARPer, and you go, they're just like, that sounds like the most random thing. You're like, yeah, I know. You're like, it doesn't make any sense unless you were there.
Yeah, I mean, I get it a lot with work asking, you got like, what is LARP? And trying to explain it to people who have no idea what LARP is, and saying it's sort of like reenactment, but that merged with a bit more sort of play acting and not metal weapons.
Yeah, I normally chicken out and say reenactment, because people seem to be able to understand what reenactment is, but not LARP so much. If I think they're a little bit more nerdy, sometimes live action D&D can kind of get them on the right track.
Yeah, I work in a IT industry, so majority of the people I know who I work with are pretty nerdy. So it's live action role play. So just imagine a D&D campaign, but you're actually playing the character, and it all has to be hard skills if you want to do something.
Yeah, so. I think that's a great way to describe it. But to wrap up Wine Club, scandal at Wine Club. A ginger wine won Wine Club.
It's not red.
Not red, which is the rules. And then followed up by a 33-year-old basement port, which was a family friend of one of the attendees just went, my friend gave me this 33 years ago. It's homebrew. And we know how dangerous homebrew on field normally is. And we were all like, this is not going to be good. Have a sniff. Very ethanol-y. Very like cleaning. And we're like, this. We were like the smallest amount. But took it on the lips. An absolute delight. We didn't know what it was. For some reason, this neglected bottle became like the second best wine of Wine Club.
Yeah.
But that was so we all left after the ginger wine one, and that was the end of my life.
It's a disgrace. Yeah.
And that was it. And I went and crawled back into my bed and dreamed sweet dreams. Just drifted off to the sound of something was going on in Navarre on Friday night. I don't know what it was, like late.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was quite nice. I like the sound of people chatting.
I do to an extent, but my brain likes to have background noise. But if it's multiple conversations, my neurospice can trigger. If there's loads of different conversations going on in my brain trying to model everything together. I've mentioned before what I tend to do is put a set of noise cancelling headphones on and put an audiobook on.
Yeah.
Because then it's just one thing going on. That's my background noise, and it works like a charm for us. It was just so goddamn hot.
It was.
I think every other event I've sent about recently, I've been like, I've had my sleeping bag with several blankets and a wool cloak over the top. This one, I woke up, my sleeping bag was unzipped, open, and I'm just lying on my camp bed, just sort of like, I am so warm right now. This is disgusting.
I think I discovered when I woke up Saturday morning that I had discarded several of my pajama sleeping clothes. And I think I only went to bed. I went to bed on top of my bed with the thinnest blanket I had.
Yeah. That's just basically I woke up wearing just my boxer shorts on top of my sleeping bag, basically wide open. I was like, yeah, it's still too hot. Which, I mean, I'd rather be too hot than too cold at night, to be honest. It's more I'll say more comfortable. I feel I'm less likely to die of hypothermia.
Interesting. I am much more of a too cold person. I always maintain that there's always something else I can do to make myself warmer.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing, is if it's a warm night, then there's not much you can do to get cold.
At some point you're at a level of decency that you can't go below.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I sleep in a tent by myself, so technically I could go full indecency, but it's one of those things that I know that I'll need to go up to the loo in the night, and I don't have to try and hunt around in my tent in the night trying to find something to put on so I can go to the toilet. Or risk going for a 4 a.m. piss while completely naked is, again, not a good idea.
You could join the growing list of Empire cryptids.
No.
The Phantom Streaker of Murder Alley.
Yeah, be the bald Bigfoot. Just see weird blurry photos of me in the distance sort of walking through the background. No, nobody wants to see that.
Some people say if you're in Navarre at about 4 a.m.
you may see
him between the trees.
Yeah, the hairless Bigfoot. Oh dear. Well, that's pretty much Friday for both of us. Yeah, because my Friday ended up, like I say, being in the marches until pretty much near timeout, and then heading off to bed. Because just absolutely shattered because of the heat. That's another thing, is the heat just makes it just very, very tiring.
Yeah.
Which is never a good thing. But
I always find the heat tends to move the hours of gameplay. I find that people do a lot less in the middle of the day, where people normally do more gameplay. But I find that the evenings tend to go on a bit later than when it's a bit colder and wetter.
Everything is a bit sort of more lively in the evenings, because everyone's sort of... I mean, Navarre's not too bad in the hot weather because we've got the shade from the trees. Yeah. But it's when you venture out onto that field, into the sun, it's just like, oh, this is oppressive and horrible.
Yeah, but I think we are going to severely miss the trees when next year. Hopefully, I think we can put some things in place, but it's not going to be the same as having those nice, lovely trees above us.
Yeah, having those big old trees, and I'm going to miss not waking up to crows. As odd as it sounds, I absolutely love the sound of crows cawing in the morning. It's just one of the... I very much like being outside and waking up to birdsong. I mean, I wake up with the sun anyway, even at home. I've got blackout curtains, but even then, I'll still wake up around dawn. It's just one of those wonderful times of day. I'm very much quite the morning person compared to a lot of people I know, including my other half. So, spend a lot of time just wandering around in the mornings, or just sitting out at camp, which is always lovely.
I always love waking up to the smell of, especially if you've gotten up before any of the other dread shields, and you've maybe got like a small bit of fire going, just waking up to the smell of some wood smoke, and like even like the crows having their like territory battle. It feels so immersive just to step out and you can see like the sun coming through the trees. I really love that first. If you get up early enough, that first kind of hour before a lot of people are up.
When it's amazing how quiet Navarre is first thing in the morning. When there's just a handful of people up. I mean, this is the first event I didn't have my fire pit out, because without Ian being there, we didn't have the awning. And I spend most of my time in the Dreadshields camp anyway, so I was like, I'm not going to bother setting up the fire pit out the front of my tent, because there didn't see much point. So it's the first time in one of the mornings where I've just spent the morning sort of sitting inside my tent, because I brought 2 chairs with me this time, one to keep at the Dreadshields camp and one to keep in my tent. So I was just sitting in my tent, just chilling out, relaxing, waiting until I heard some sort of movement.
Man staking his territory.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you're always a delight to have over in our camp. I think it goes both ways.
Yeah, it's lovely just to have sort of a nice base. There's always people at the Dreadshaws camp, and you're a lovely bunch of people, and I couldn't ask for better friends to have at LARP.
Oh, thank you very much, buddy. We love having you round the camp as well, either tending the fire or just occasionally rattling a bottle of something at someone.
Yeah, or handing a hip flask, because usually the the drunkle of Keys may be dead, but it lives on in Gwithian. Well, I think that was probably a good place for us to call the Friday episode. So we'll be back with what we got up to on Saturday, the wedding day. Woo! Yeah.
Millie, add wedding bells.
Yeah, and then a couple of explosions here. Cool. Also love to thank our Patreons. Thank you very much. You keep the lights on and allow us to keep doing this, and we do love doing it. So thank you very much. I think there's just one thing left to say. Strength of the Empire.
Strength of Navarre.